It's International Men's Day! Hello
Happy
and
Men's
welcome to SMA Talks, the podcast. My name is Ayodeji Saraki. Do not go anywhere because I would be right back. So today, being Thursday, the 19th of November 2020, we celebrate International Men's Day all over the world. And being a man myself, I brought in my friend, who is a real man, a real G, Juwon Nwaha Praise, aka J-Boy, like I call you. Abi? J-Boy.
Only you calls me J-Boy.
So, Juwon, happy International Men's Day.
Happy International Men's Day to you,
Yeah,
my friend.
how you doing?
Great, bro.
Yeah,
Great.
and I have to tell our listeners that Juwon is. I read you are multi-talented. You contested for Mr. Ideal
Mr.
Nigeria.
Yeah, 2020.
This year, 2020.
Representing Delta State.
Representing. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's a great one. You see, those are the men we're proud of in our society.
And
And I know you also do urban planning.
Yeah, that was
Right.
what I studied in school.
Okay, you're also a
I'm an urban-
basketballer.
Yes,
I mean,
passionately.
Only you.
Bro, there's still a lot more I could do, but I mean, Nigeria is restricting. Look at our economy.
You just sounded like a typical Nigerian.
Which I have.
But it's okay.
Very patriotic.
But it's okay. Today we're talking about men, so let's just delve into it.
Yeah,
That would be better.
yeah.
So, John, the theme for this year is better health for men and boys. And for me, I tried to broaden it, which is that's the health part of it, which is mental health and physical health. I would like us to talk about mental and physical health and I really found this theme specifically for 2020 very inspiring because it's something we ought to talk about now.
Yeah.
Because a conversation that's been happening for lately is where a lot of us men and boys, where we talk about vulnerability, men showing the vulnerable side, men being themselves, men showing their emotions, having the language for emotions, having the words to express themselves, trying to deconstruct masculinity, trying to show up and be seen and not just bottle up emotions and all of that. So I think the aspect of better health for men and boys, that theme is really catchy. And I think is what we need. This year, especially that we are faced the severe pandemic. People say pandemic, but permit me to say pandemic. Yes, COVID-19 is out here. Is real. You have to protect yourself, wear your mask and all of that. However, it has really worsened just for everyone, not just men. How we think about stuff, how we have now been more polarized, if I may say, because we have to be on lockdown, the economy shrinks around the world, so you have to be more conservative. So it has really affected everybody's mental health. But me, that we've always been talking about boys' mental health lately, and today, which happens to be International Men's Day, I think we should focus on boys and men. Boys and men. So, first of all, tell me, are you proud or are you happy to be a man?
Yes, I'm indeed very happy and pleased to be a man. Being a man is one of the greatest gifts God can give you coming to earth.
Wow.
So it's a privilege if you're a man, and you should be proud of it. I'm very proud. I'm sure you are too. Or
I'm proud to be a man, but...
Or do you plan to be a woman?
Of course not. I'm happy with my gender. I'm proud to be a man. And I think it's also a privilege for those that are women to be a woman. And it's a privilege to be anything as long as you're a human being.
Whatever God gives you.
Yeah, exactly. because I don't want to confuse other people listening that are not men, so they don't think you're against them or something like that. Yeah. So how's it been like for you growing up? You grew up in Nigeria?
Yeah, I did.
Where in Nigeria do you grow up?
Zara, precisely, Kaduna State.
Kaduna State. So
Yeah.
how's it like growing up as a boy? When you're a boy, as a boy child, how's it like?
Well, growing up as a boy child for me was really interesting as a kid. I was just with my parent. I had my sister, and I basically had everything I needed. As my parents spoiled me with toys, he gave me everything. So, growing up in Kaduna State, at some point as a child, wasn't really what I wanted, because I became tired of the environment. I'm a man who I love changes.
Okay.
I love to evolve over things with time. I don't like being on a particular thing for a long period of time. So I got involved with basketball from being a teenager, and that's helped me in traveling around the country, been to several states. So I happened to come across various diversities of culture, people, met people even from outside Nigeria as well, because basketball is that diverse. It links you up with so many diversities. So that broadened my knowledge and enlightened me to the fact that, there is more to actually where I grew up.
True.
And I wanted to see the world much more. So growing up as a boy was really interesting. But then, when you grow up under African parents, you have restrictions as a man. They don't want you to keep late night because they feel if you keep late night, you're a cultist.
True.
Or they feel if you're keeping late night, you have joined bad gang.
Bad gang.
I want more bad gang.
Like Faust.
That's how they call
you have joined bad gang.
But it's not that. I mean, you're just living out your youth as a young boy, because I mean, when you're young, that's when you have time to go out, to socialize, to meet people. You can't just be all locked up, and that's what most parents do. My parents were like that. They always wanted me around, not for anything much, not that I wash plate or clean the cars. Just wanted my face being around, and I didn't want that.
I mean, it'd be puny to say that those experiences did not shape who you are today, because obviously those experiences you had obviously shaped the man you are today.
Yes, absolutely.
And that is why, like, for me personally, I'm really excited about today, Thursday, 19th November, that we're celebrating International Men's Day, because oftentimes we always celebrate, people think that we always celebrate, Women's Day more. Yeah. And it's understandable.
But that's actually how it is.
It's always been, because, the world is patriarchal from many angles. So people think, it's a man's world, and that's why the SDGs, Goal 5, always advocating for gender equality and all of that. So, and we celebrate women, International Women's Day, I think, is 8th of March that we do that. But the other days, girl child celebration, this and that. So I'm excited that at least we get to talk about men today, and we get to appreciate one another. I would like to ask you, like, the experiences you mentioned, do you think then, growing up as a boy, how do you think currently now in the 21st century, how do you think the boy child, raising a boy child, has evolved? Like, what do you think is the difference between then and now for the boy child growing up now?
A lot of times have changed.
Yeah, true.
To start with, times have changed like a whole lot. I mean, 10 years ago is different from now. 2010 is different from what it is now, 2020. True. And growing up as a child, as a boy child, if vividly we can all remember, back in the days, we go out to play. You play with your neighbors. I mean, you go out, you play, you make noise, you come home, your feet are dead, and your parents are like, this boy, why can't you just stay in the house? You keep playing. But these days, I mean, kids don't play anymore. Everybody is on the computer. And I feel the fact that over time, that has dropped.
Yes.
And boy childs don't get to play more often has led to a lot of content being raised in society today, where you have people questioning their gender. Okay. Am I this? Am I that? Because you're always glued to the internet, to your computer, so you get to see a lot of things. It's good. It's good. Technology is good, but the fact that it has evolved and left thus the boy child not going out to play more, has really shaped the way the boy child sees the society today.
True, absolutely.
You meet a young boy today and he wants to play with your phone. When I was younger, when I meet my uncles, there was no phone. Even if they had phones, it was the brick phones they had.
So basically, technology has really shaped the way things are now.
Yes, a lot.
You know, it just reminds me of a quote I heard from, I think, one of these great men who said that if you see the world, if you're 30 and you view the world the same way you view the world when you are 50, it means you have lost 20 years of your life.
True.
You know?
Yeah.
So things, of course, change. It's dynamic. It's not static.
Yeah.
But I would like you to... Okay, so how do you think we should raise the boy child differently? Because in this modern age and time, where we are always advocating for feminism, gender equality, and all of that.
Yeah.
Because, for example, I like to take my things in an African context.
Yeah.
So in Africa, for example, we fall into the category of humans that always want to give birth to male children.
Yeah.
You know, we have women that have given birth to, that have maybe like 10 children.
Yeah.
The reason why they had 10 children is not their plan to have 10 children.
Yeah.
It's because they were trying to look for a male child.
Yes.
Maybe she was just giving birth to females consistently.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure you know she's number 4, give birth to female, number 5, number 6. In fact, she gets tired and a male child never comes. And we see instances whereby the husband will now marry the second wife, and the second wife, luckily, she'll give birth to a male child, and in fact, she'll be the most precious wife in the house because she has a male child. So we have this bias towards the boy child. You know, that when a boy child is like the king of children. You know, when you have a boy child, you give birth to a child, but if you have the girl child, you know, she'll go to her husband's house.
I think that's just...
She would marry, but your boy child would grow up into becoming a man and keep the father's name, keep the family name. So people like to invest more. They give the boy child more education, more resources, more head start than his female counterpart, his female siblings. You know. So in this modern age of feminism, gender equality, and all of that, what do you think we should be teaching the boys we are raising now? What should we be telling boys now?
Okay, first of all, I think viewing boys as the spearhead, as the king of the family, shouldn't be all that. I mean, if you have female daughters, they are also your daughters.
Sure.
They should also be seen as queens as well. I think it's a stereotype that has been growing up with our culture for a very long time. And we've become so institutionalized with it that it's now something that is so common among everybody. So raising boy child differently these days means we should educate boys more about the importance of women to us. Let's not downgrade women to the boys. Let's make everybody feel equal, because we are in the sight of God. First of all, we are all equal, and we should see every woman as a human, first of all, before now seen as a female. Because in the society, back then in culture, in fact, even from our African movies, you see favoritism between the male child. The king always wants the male child in the palace compared to the female child. And that is what has been portrayed. And indirectly, you see these things and it sticks in your head like a picture. So you feel, oh, this is the order of the day, which is not so. Every one of us should be all seen equally. And women now rising up saying they're feminists and all that is because they
not only women, we have male feminists too.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we have male feminists too. Yes. And, well, I don't know their theory to that, why you should be... Because feminism to me, I don't really stand for it. I'm not saying it's wrong. Being feminist means that you don't really like the males. You feel
this is not about feminism.
Yeah.
It's a different conversation. Let's don't go into it. Let's just focus on the boy child.
But I feel we should always have a balance between these things instead of choosing a side to have more percentage than the other side. Let's look at ourselves equal. I mean, you're a female and you can be my friend. Why not? We should be able to play. When I was younger, I played with females who were my neighbors. We did mommy and daddy. I'm sure most of us did that. You understand?
Of course,
we play with no sentiment.
I did mommy and daddy too. Yes. Please, no one should judge me. We all did it.
We all did it. But these days now, when you're doing it, some people begin to look at you like, what are these ones doing?
Yeah, but it's interesting what you said, and I'd like to quickly correct the fact that a lot of people have the wrong definition of feminism.
Yeah.
So, because I identify with positive feminism myself, I call myself a feminist.
Yeah.
And the reason is because I define feminism as anyone who sees that there's a problem between gender, and we need to always put a nuance to it to find solutions. We have to name it. Do you understand? But I won't want to go into feminism today. But I would like to talk about character, because as a male child or a male in the society, we can't dispute the fact that a lot of men have done great things in our society. We have to give it to men, because men literally, this world we are now, men run the world.
Yeah.
You know, Wangari Maathai, which sometimes is not all that balanced, you know, but is the reality. I mean, Wangari Maathai put it well when she said, the higher you go, the few women you will find. Meaning that the most people that dominate the top hierarchy in the society, majority are men. So sometimes there's a bias to that statement, because you can look at it that it also means that men have not given women enough opportunities to move up the ladder. Yeah. But I would like to focus it from the fact that a lot of men have tried, you know, good men, to do their bit in nation building, in societal building, in the progress of our world. So I'd like us to talk about character, because good character is a very important virtue. Yeah, it's a very scarce commodity among many, many people. So, and a lot of men in authority, right? We look up to them. A lot of men in authority are the ones that make decisions that shape our world. I mean, obviously, the president of Nigeria is a man. The president of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, is a man. President of the United States. So men literally shape the decisions men make. So I want us to look at the character. We need men, because if men rule the world, what are we impacting in our boys that will grow up into becoming great men? How can we teach them the ingredients, you know, for a better world, the ingredient they need to grow up with? Because these boys are the ones, we're all boys too, we're boys once. Yeah. Look at you, you're an old man now. So, what ingredients do we need to give these boys now to grow up into becoming great men of character and value?
Well, there's nothing as good as a good public image. Let me start with that. And I'm sure most of us all heard that from our families when you're growing up. We all hear how you need to have like good character in the public scene.
Yes.
In your
public and private.
Everything. School, institution, in your church, your mosques, wherever.
Yes.
And it's so important that boys are taught to have good behavior, because that precedes you in life. When you have good character, a lot can be said about you without even meeting you. So what goes ahead of you before someone meets you? When I hear, Ayodeji, comments can be very bad. A lot of people have a lot of things to say about you. But do they hear more of the good side of you than the bad side? That is very important. And I feel for a boy child, they might not understand this now till they are all grown up.
Yes.
Because as a child, there are a lot of things our parents tell us, but it doesn't digest well until you hit a certain age and you're like, oh wow, so these things they told me back then were all so true. But we couldn't just digest them yet. So sometimes I think we need time for some of all these things we say to the boy child to actually manifest and mature in them. So, but teaching them character also boils down to we, the adults. because we were boys once, now we're adults. And also the parents, guardians, and whatsoever. The character you display among boy child also goes a long way in shaping them.
True.
If you have a toxic man in a family and you have a boy child around, the chances of him also being toxic is quite high, because this is what he sees every day. Only in very few occasions where you have a little change.
It's interesting what you said. So this brings me to the question: who would you say, who is that man that has done the most for you, that really helped to shape you? Who would you attribute that to?
First of all, let me attribute to God.
Okay.
Let me attribute to God, because when...
But God is not a man.
Well, he has always been portrayed as a man. I mean, when you hear his voices, he's manly. I've never heard God's voice to be...
Can you imagine? My ladies, I hope you people are listening to it. All my beautiful ladies listening to my podcast.
We are all the same.
Of course.
So we're all created in the image of God. So
in the image of God, okay. So whether God is a man, a woman, a child, is the Almighty,
is the Almighty God. But
so I'm saying, who is that man that, aside God, maybe your father, your uncle?
My father.
Okay.
My father. He has been there from the first day, from day zero. Contributed to my growth as a man. Told me my pros and cons as a man, and also in the society at large. You know, he always wanted the best for me, even though sometimes I feel he had some shortcomings doing that. Because as a child, you have different theory about life, other than what your parents tell you. And when I was growing up, I always grew up as a very curious person.
Okay.
I was more of an introvert, because I was suppressed where I came from. They don't want you to speak much, because they feel when you're in the midst of elders, you should listen more instead of speaking more.
One of the most incredible things of African culture.
So so we're basically subdued into our voices being heard. So you had to do more of speech talking with yourself and what you learn. So as I grew, I began to read, study, and I found Jay-Z as one of, I can call him a mentor, because I love his theory about life, his approach about life. He's a billionaire today. I mean, he's popular. Everybody should, by now, at least know who Jay-Z is.
Of course.
So I picked up with his music quite early, and I loved a lot of things he talked about. He wasn't really discriminating, although he is someone who likes to bluff. He bluffs about things. Although the things he bluffs about are things that are real.
Okay.
You understand? He bluffs about his wristwatches. They're not. He actually has all these things. You understand?
So let's say Jay-Z has really helped. You know, is one of your mentors you look up to. And I mean, it's good. And like you mentioned, you said your father.
Yeah, my
and I'm sure a lot of people, their fathers. In fact, please let's clap for fathers. All the fathers, man, you guys are the real superheroes.
And fathers to be.
Yeah, and fathers, and fathers to be. You know, because we don't get enough time to celebrate our men, our fathers.
They really put in a lot of
work.
they
put in. It's difficult. I mean, a lot of people think it's easy being a man or a boy. It's difficult. It is real difficult. And it's a struggle that, in fact, people are always, you're in constant challenge with yourself, from family. There's expectation as a man in the society, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. There is that constant, your family, there's pressure on you. Society puts pressure on you. You're in a relationship, you are under pressure. So the man basically is always under pressure. So for all the men listening, all the boys growing up to be men, all the fathers to be, all the current fathers, you guys are the real superheroes. Well done, well done. We celebrate you. We appreciate you. Thank you for being there. Thank you for your role you're playing in the society. We really appreciate you. So, Juwon, I want you to tell me, what kind of future, do you see for? I mean, because today now is the theme for this year is better health for men and boys, and the mental health of men Like I said earlier, men always bottle up a lot of things. Mental health, we bottle up a lot of things. That is me. I think I'm guilty of it, but we're all trying to deconstruct the whole idea of masculinity, of you should always be a certain way, you shouldn't cry, you shouldn't just hard guy. I better calm down. You understand? So, what future do you see for men? Do you see a future whereby men will be vulnerable enough to share their downside very well? We're seeing more of it gradually. Do you think that would increase, or do you think it will decrease? Because with this age of technology, anything can shift at any time. So do you think it's something that would continue, or will also get to a point that people will be like, oh, I mean, why? Let's go back to the traditional. So what future do you see for men?
Well, for men, first of all, I see a better future for men, all men, because men are becoming more awoken and more enlightened about why we are men, first of all. And the theory about men being not being able to express themselves fully, and always bottling up their emotions is really something that should be looked into, because as a man like me, if I'm going through a lot, I don't know how to narrate my situation to someone else.
It's because you don't have the language of
Not
emotion.
that I don't have the language, but I'm not used to it. Okay. I know how to manage my situation and handle it myself. If I express my situation to you, it means I trust you to a certain point.
Okay.
For me to be able to open up to you that this is how I really feel. This is what I go through. I remember sometimes after the lockdown, I opened up to you about a situation I was going through.
Okay.
And we went back and forth about it. I'm sure you can remember.
I can remember.
And we went back and forth, and that was because we really have great conversations.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, after talking to you about it, we laughed.
Yeah.
It was funny, and that helped me, but you didn't know. That helped me grow over it.
Thank you.
That helped me because I actually opened up what was in me.
Yeah.
You understand?
So do you know, sorry to cut you, forgive me. There's a statistics that shows that men express themselves more to fellow men than women. So if men are to even open up at all, they open up to fellow men.
Yes.
So they listen to advice from men than women.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to wrap my head around that statistics, because I always think that, before I read that statistics, I always think that men listen more to women than men, only for me to discover that men seek advice and listen to fellow men more than women.
True. Well, for that angle, I feel we men like to express ourselves to other men because they will have a better vivid idea about what it feels like in your situation as a man than a woman. Most women don't really understand how women operate. Not all of them.
Yeah.
That is why they could actually act a movie called Think Like a Man. Do you understand?
Okay.
There's actually a way women process and think that most women don't really understand. So,
but don't you think that's the responsibility that falls upon women to now open up and share to our women that, okay, this is how, because gender, you see, to me, is sociology. It's biology and sociology. Yeah. So biology means that, of course, men and women were different. We're not the same. The man obviously is physically stronger than a woman.
Yeah.
The man grows beards. Some women actually grow beards.
Yeah.
A man has six packs. Some women actually have six packs. But there are some hormones that makes the man stronger, than the woman. However, a major aspect of gender, man and woman, is also sociology, meaning how you socialize, to form, to become a man. What I'm trying to say is that we view the world differently from the gaze of a man, from the gaze of a woman. how do we meet? I know this is like off what we're saying, but I'm trying to ask you that how would we meet at a middle ground whereby women can relate
to men
to know what we can relate how we're also feeling to women, so our women will not feel that there's this divide. Do you understand?
Yeah.
We can also like take advice from women. And
well,
how do we balance?
Well, I feel every man, and I'm sure every man at some point in their life took advice from their mothers. We seek great advice from our mothers, from our immediate families, from our sisters, our aunties. We do that because we know they are family. Now let's go outside that box of family into this society. It is normally said, or particularly said, that as a man, when you seek advice from a woman, they find you vulnerable, or they look at you as, when you tell them, when you open up to them, telling them, oh, do you know, I feel really sad. I don't know how.
So it's still the fear of being seen as weak.
Well, I think that's a stereotype that has stuck for a very long time.
Long time.
A lot of narratives in African history, culture, have been falsified, and it has sticked because of time. And we need to undo that mentally, first of all.
Yeah.
It is a gradual process, but it can be done. We need to do that. There's no harm in a guy opening up to a woman about how you feel. But then, the thing is that we also feel that when you do this, sometimes they look at you as a weak person.
A weak person.
Because, take it or leave it, I hear most women say, I like a man that is gangster.
Yes.
What does it mean?
Ladies will say, you hear some of my female friends will say, they like bad boys.
Yeah.
Like.
And the meaning bad boys sometimes could mean you bottling up those emotions. Not showing it to them makes you feel.
I mean, there's a recent one, one of the reality shows called Big Brother.
Yes.
There was one lady in the house, Nengi, her name was.
Yes.
She was telling, I can remember she was telling one of the guys.
Yeah.
That, I think that was Ozo.
Yeah.
I remember she was telling one of the guys also that she likes a man that has attitude.
Yeah.
That he shouldn't be nice to other ladies.
Yeah.
But he should only be nice to her.
Yeah.
So she has his control. So you only have to be nice to me, but every other person. So sometimes she just takes everybody just try and be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And don't live off to be or to impress.
Yeah.
Live a life to impress other people
Yeah.
or to be like another person, because everybody has their own expectation of you or whatever. But whatever the case is, I want to say that I'm proud to be a man.
Yes.
I know you're proud to be a man.
Absolutely.
And today's International Men's Day. Yes, which is a good one. And I'm really happy and excited that we got to share, this conversation and stand in solidarity with our fellow men. And I'd like to say before we round off that love is very important in this society, in this world, especially this world that is very challenging and difficult.
Yeah.
And if we men can show more of it, we can show more of love and support and solidarity. If you have a boy around you or a young man or an old man around you that needs your advice, try to be there for them. Give them good advice. It's tough enough being a man. And for the ladies listening, please show us some more kindness. Show us some more love.
Yeah.
It's not easy to be a man, but and I know it's not easy to be a woman too. There are many things.
So many things.
Yeah, there's so many things, but that's a conversation for another day. I'm definitely going to do a podcast about that.
Yeah.
But today, please permit us to celebrate. Today is our own day, International Men's Day. So, thank you for listening. Have a great one. Mr. Juwon, any last words?
Well, the thing is, all men should be proud of themselves, irrespective of whatever situation you're going through.
True.
Because, first of all, as we've said multiple times in this talk, it's not easy being a man. Likewise, it is not being easy a woman. It's relative.
Yes.
But as a man, you should clap for yourself today for getting this far in life. It's not easy.
Yes.
Getting this far as a man. So we should be proud of ourselves. And if you have beards, you should be extra proud of yourself.
I think that's a good way to end it. On that note, thank you very much for listening, and bye for now.